What's good? It's your boy Fanon. Welcome back to the channel. Gonna do a video about Deontay Wilder and one of the reasons he said he turned down Dazn because Dazn tried to get tricky with him, wouldn't tell him how much Anthony Joshua was gonna make for the fights. So that means he didn't know how much money was on the table. And he said if it ain't 50-50, it ain't happening, and he don't care who's paying for it. He talks about the belts that he has, also talks about his worth in the boxing industry, and I agree with him. So let's go over that, and also something that Bob Arum said that I think really is at the root why this fight has not happened or is not happening soon. So let's chop it up about that. But before I do, I want to welcome you back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, subscribe. You can do that by hitting the bell icon, by hitting the subscribe button and then the bell icon. And that way you'll be notified. When you hit the bell icon, you'll be notified of when we release more videos, which we do on the daily. Also, when we do our live streams, which take place start time between 10:30 to 10:45 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Also, thank you to everybody, the new Patreons. Got some new stuff up there for the Patreons. It's growing. We're gonna start doing some prizes and some giveaways and some live streams over there on the Patreon channel. Now that we're over 50, now that we're at our 51st Patreon, and that's what's up, man. About 10% on our way to our goal. Thank you guys so much. Now, let's get into what he had to say, Deontay Wilder had to say. And he's a smart guy, man. He says Wilder was offered a $100 million purse for a 3-fight deal with Dazn and 2 fights against Joshua, right? And so he says, this is what Wilder says. He says that loyalty is everything. It's the foundation of success. What I honestly think he means also is that trust, because trust goes, trust and loyalty is everything. He said, how can you do negotiations, a deal, if you don't know what the other party is doing? Whatever the fight is worth, let's say $3, and you give me $1 and he gets the rest of the pot, I'm lowering my standards. That's not right to me. Like I said, and I'll say it again, the only way this fight is going to happen is if it's 50-50, and I don't care what it is. At this point in time, it ain't even about the belts. I'm the hottest, the most talked about fighter in the world right now, and I got one belt. I got the one belt that means more than all the other belts. It's the green WBC belt, the most precious and beautiful belt in boxing. Every great fighter has had this belt. If they want to correct, it's going to be right down the line. So he's telling you, now this is something that 78 Sports TV has said, and I mean, I'm just going to co-sign with him on this. All this talk about Anthony Joshua wanting to fight, man, everybody that's involved knows what Deontay Wilder wants to make that fight. And that is a 50-50 split. When negotiations for that fight had begun, Deontay Wilder said that he would take 60-40 as long, or he said, actually what he said is, I would take everything, anything that you offer me, as long as during the rematch, you take the same thing. That was what he said originally. He said he wanted 60-40. People were like, nobody knows you. You've never done anything. Anthony Joshua is, Anthony Joshua's the A side, all that. That's in late 2017, late 2018. And things have changed. Deontay Wilder is now been on pay-per-view. Everybody that knows Anthony Joshua knows who Deontay Wilder is. And it's the fight that people want. The fight that people want to see Anthony Joshua in, and the only fight that people care about Anthony Joshua having, is with Deontay Wilder. So Anthony Joshua needs Deontay Wilder to make the fight the only fight that people are interested in seeing him fight. And that is Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, the fight that most people want to see Deontay Wilder have, is a fight with Anthony Joshua. So 50-50 sounds real fair to me. But more importantly, if Anthony Joshua is saying that he wants to make the fight, then make an offer that's 50-50. Now, to have Dazn stand as a proxy in here, that's another reason that's kind of shady, because Deontay Wilder has stated that he wants 50-50. So when Dazn says, I'll pay you $40 million for the first fight and $40 million for the second fight, without telling them how much they're paying for the fight total, then they could very well be giving Deontay Wilder a 60-40 proposition. It could be a 70-30 proposition. It could be whatever. Who knows how much money that they're going to pay Anthony Joshua for that fight, because Anthony Joshua would be the one that's signing second. And what Deontay Wilder's saying is, no, I don't care what the amount of money that's being offered for the fight is. If somebody's paying for that fight, I'm getting half of it because I'm half of the worth of the fight. So don't try to shortchange me and try to give him the lion's share of it, regardless of whether or not we're negotiating what a pay-per-view is, or whether there's whether the Dazn wants to buy the fight outright. Whatever the case is, it's going to be 50-50. And the funny thing is that Deontay Wilder's been saying that for a while. So if Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua are serious about making the fight, they'll say, here's 50-50. We'll do 50-50. And even if they said, oh, we'll do a rematch clause and the rematch will be 50-50 or whatever, that's when you know that they're serious about making that fight. When they pay the going rate for the fight that they want to have. And Deontay Wilder's the one that says both of those guys rather have to come to an agreement about what it is. If Deontay Wilder says 50-50 and Anthony Joshua doesn't want to do 50-50, then hey man, the fight doesn't happen. And that's the same thing no matter who it is. If Sean Porter and Errol Spence Jr. are on pay-per-view and Sean Porter wants 50-50 and Errol Spence says no, we're going to do 70-30, then Sean Porter doesn't have to sign for that fight at anything less than what he's asking for. Now, people might get on his back a little bit about it or whatever, but still, he doesn't have to accept what he doesn't think. If he thinks he's worth that, then in order to get a fight with him, Errol Spence, to get a fight with him, he's got to pay that. You can't stick a weapon in his face and make him sign the contract, right? So it is what it is, and we'll see whether or not they're going to actually come off of that. But the longer that Deontay Wilder continues to put that out there up front, and the more that Anthony Joshua says things like, yeah, I really want the fight, but he's got to be financially realistic, that tells you who doesn't want the fight. Because Deontay Wilder's saying, give me 50-50, I'll take the fight. Anthony Joshua's saying, I want the fight, but I'm not going to give you 50-50, so no, we're not going to make the fight. That tells you right there who really wants the fight and who doesn't want the fight. Now, maybe the reason, and I think this is a reason that a lot of people have stated, that maybe one of the reasons why they're not coming near that 50-50 is because of what Bob Arum has to say. Man, Bob Arum has been doing a lot of talking this week, obviously because of Terrence Crawford. The promotions have kind of kicked off for Terrence Crawford versus Amir Khan. So, people are asking him a lot of questions. And this is what he says. He says, Anthony Joshua is a very, very good fighter, as is Wilder. They're all good. Joshua, it remains to be seen. His chin isn't the greatest. If Wilder hits him on the chin, then it's goodbye Joshua, I think. It remains to be seen if they fight. That's why Bob Arum is saying, hey man, the reason why the fight ain't happening is because Anthony Joshua don't want to go to sleep because he got an iffy chin. And we know he's got an iffy chin because we saw him get clocked by Klitschko. We saw him get put on Dizzy Street by Dillian White. I think somebody said Dillian White knocked him out in the amateurs, or at least he beat him in the amateurs. So, that's a problem with Anthony Joshua. And Deontay Wilder has enough power to knock out guys that have sturdy chins, because Luis Ortiz has got a very solid chin and he still got knocked out. And you can get hit and knocked down at any moment in the fight. Who knows if they really want that. But look, this fight is now in the United States. And plus, as far as this 50-50 goes, I don't think we're talking about Wembley anymore. I don't think that this fight is going to take place in Wembley Stadium over in the UK. This is going to be a fight that's going to happen in the United States more than likely. And quite honestly, man, to maximize the value for Deontay Wilder, it should probably be a US pay-per-view. Because a US pay-per-view in the United States with Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua can do 1 million pay-per-views. I believe that it'll do 1 million pay-per-views. 1 million pay-per-views at that's $100 million fight, man. That could be $50 million from both of them, right? If it does more than that, it could be, $60 million, $70 million for both of them. Especially if you can take into consideration the UK pay-per-view. So Deontay Wilder saying, nah, man, I'm not taking anything but 50-50. I'll know you serious about when you want the fight when you say 50-50. And not try to go to a third party to get the third party to give some to pay the 40 up front and then give you 60 so you get your 60-40 even in a rematch. Nah, man, that doesn't sound like what's up. But anyway, that's my take on what Deontay Wilder had to say. And with that,